Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good to see you, Secretary. I have two issues I'd like to bring up. One is specific to my state, at least I'm aware of it only in my state. I've been troubled by efforts underway in the state led by Governor Wolf through Medicaid officials at the Pennsylvania Department of Human Services. And I support the right. I have hospitals in my area and providers that some are members of collecting are unionized and others are not. And I certainly support the right of workers to unionize. But for the first time, there would be provisions in the Medicaid program that would force collective bargaining and essentially force unionization on physicians, hospitals, nursing homes, and other health facilities, again, through really unprecedented and I think unlawful contractual requirements for providers that are participating in the Medicaid managed care program, which we call health choices. And I think the outcome would potentially be it'll deny health care access for over 250,000 Medicaid beneficiaries across the Commonwealth, or force them to travel longer distances to receive needed care. And as you know, CMS will have the ultimate say on whether to accept these contracts and accept them if they would with, I think, these burdensome, politicized, and unnecessary unionization requirements. And more importantly, I think CMS also will have the opportunity on the other side, other hand, to protect access to care for Medicaid beneficiaries across Pennsylvania by blocking these specific contract provisions. So I ask you to look at those when they come across. I have three questions for you, just yes or no. Would you agree that regardless of how one feels about unionization, working families, women and children who rely on the Medicaid program should never be used as pawns in workplace organizing advocacy, and that state Medicaid officials should never attempt to hijack health care from poor and vulnerable beneficiaries in an effort to force a political outcome? Would you? Yes or no?
I think you know that I'm going to say that's a question that doesn't that calls for more than just a yes or no, because you planted so many little time bombs in it. What I will tell you is that the objective of Medicaid is to expand services, and so we'll do everything we can to make sure that we're increasing the number of Americans who have access to good quality health care.
Do you feel that Medicaid managed care contracts are the appropriate forum for a governor or for CMS to push partisan labor priorities?
I've got enough jurisdiction as it is. I'm not going to take on the role of governors and tell you what they should or shouldn't do.
Well, I thank you for that, but you will be, CMS, maybe not you personally, but will be approving these contracts. So,
but based on the issue of whether it's increasing access to care at a better price.
So maybe could I just get at least a commitment to closely examine these provisions, which again, I think are unlawful, that I think will deny care to Pennsylvanians.
Absolutely.
And will you work with my office to ensure that uninterrupted, seamless access to care remains available for Pennsylvania's Medicaid population? Thank you. Now, just briefly, looking at the clock, discussing the president's budget, it includes $73 million in new spending, $16 trillion in new debt over the next 10 years, and really doesn't address sort of the drivers of cost in the Medicare program. The Medicare Hospital Insurance Trust Fund Part A is projected to face insolvency by 2026, only a few short years away, at which point it will only be able to pay for 91% of Part A scheduled benefits, cutting $44 billion that year's current projections. And there's no reforms in this budget to change that. Previous budgets included policies, and this was in the previous administration, policies that would save Medicare hundreds of billions of dollars, while last year's budget, Biden's budget, called for an expansion of Medicare benefits, and I think straining the service for 63 million Americans that depend on the program. So another year gone by, insolvency another year closer. Is your agency examining any meaningful solutions to ensure that we can continue the promise that has been made to individuals relying on Medicare?
And Congressman, in 10 seconds, I'm going to do what I know is going to be impossible. I'm going to respond to that question very quickly. First, I think we can all agree that if we're going to look to reform Medicare to keep it going strong forever, we should be cutting costs, not benefits. And if we can all agree to that, we're going to make some progress. Secondly, this budget actually does increase the strength of Medicare. Even the actuaries say that. It does that by increasing program integrity.
Just one quick question. I mean, don't you think we should be talking about solvency and putting forth good
Absolutely.
proposals to increase the solvency rather than adding new benefits at this time?
Well, if you don't want to cut benefits, then we're in the ballgame to talk. But if you start talking about cutting benefits to try to move when we know there's still waste and fraud in there, then that's a non-starter. But we're going to move towards value care versus volume of care. And we're going to work with you closely because, as you know, and I say this having served in this chamber for 24 years, the real people who can make sure Medicare is there in the long run for our grandkids are you all, not us, because you have the votes to change the laws.
Thank you.